Let's talk about learning objectives. I'm going to be giving you an overview and also some examples and explanation to get you going on your task for this week, which is going to be writing course objectives for your own course. You've just read and listened to a little bit of information about backward design. Learning objectives are one of the key components of backward design. Beginning with your overarching course objectives helps direct your design process and hone in on what's important further along in the process. The information I'm sharing is directly related to the UNM Online Course Standards rubric, specifically Standard 2. Course learning objectives focus on the bigger picture ideas, while your module or weekly learning objectives are going to be more focused and even more specific. You're going to hear the word specific quite a lot when we talk about learning objectives, as well as the word measurable. It is important to be able to state clearly how it is that you're measuring your learning objectives. So, if we have a learning objective like, you will learn about science, that is not specific enough and it's difficult to measure. Many of you may be familiar with Bloom's taxonomy of action verbs. There are lots of versions available and we offer one in the module. This and other similar taxonomies aid us in writing measurable and specific learning objectives because they provide us with verbs that are both measurable and specific. In my earlier example, you will learn about science. Learn is a verb we typically avoid when writing objectives, along with the verbs know and understand. This is because they aren't measurable, and if you're using them currently, your designer will work with you to revise your objectives. To give you some examples of verbs that are better to use for learning objectives, you can consult the list that we provide in the module. We're highlighting the higher order thinking skills, which fall under analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, because that is where we'd like to see most of your objectives land, especially for upper division, undergraduate, and graduate classes. And keep in mind with a verb like analyze, in order to analyze a topic, students need to be able to define or describe or identify what it is they're analyzing. So it's implied that some of those verbs that fall lower on the taxonomy are part of those higher order thinking skills. To revise the example I used above, students will learn about science. I may say, students will apply the scientific method, or students will evaluate examples of experimental design. What we'd like you to do is to return to your introduction discussion post where you posted your 3 enduring understandings that you'd like your students to remember 5 years from now. Take a note of what you wrote or copy and paste it into another document, and then start thinking about how you can change each one of those into a learning objective for your course. It's possible that they won't easily translate to objectives, and if so, that's no problem. Just focus on drafting your course objectives. To prepare for this course, we followed these steps. We started thinking about what our goals were. We wanted our students/instructors to be able to understand evidence-based practices for online learning and how to use those practices to build an effective online course. We had that sort of taboo verb understand, and we knew we needed to make this into something more measurable. So we asked ourselves the question, what do our students need to do, practice, or experience in order to accomplish this goal? And in thinking about that and consulting our list of Bloom's verbs, after a few rounds of revision, we came up with the objective that you can see in the syllabus. By the end of this course, UNM instructors will be able to apply evidence-based practices for online learning. This chart gives you a sense of the flow of backward design, starting with those course goals in mind, then breaking it down into these pieces like module objectives, activities, and materials that students will need to be able to achieve those goals. We'll talk a bit more about this next week when we get into module or weekly objectives. So, to get back to your task for this week, you're going to start developing and refining your course learning objectives, and you'll share them as a part of your Module 2 discussion response. You can repost your enduring understandings from the introduction discussion and then post a draft of your course objectives for feedback. Use your list of Bloom's action verbs and try to use the frame of, by the end of this course, students will be able to. We generally recommend around 3 to 5 course objectives, although there may be occasions where a course requires more or fewer. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to your facilitators, post on the Course Cafe, or check in with your designer. Enjoy and good luck!